Hey, Jamsters, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast. My name is John, his name is Matthew, and we are here to walk you through another journey of division previews. That's right. A few days ago, we did the Atlantic Division preview. Now we are previewing the Central Division. Matthew, how confident do you feel now that we have some time since we did our last preview to reflect upon what you did?
I'm confident, man.
Yeah?
I never doubted my abilities on this whole thing.
I doubted mine the entire time. So
Really? Yeah, me too.
You're so confident.
Yeah,
I
should be
envy your
scared.
confidence. I'm terrified.
Yeah, you should be scared. All the Jamsters out there. I'm
You
surprised
know
they
what
still
we should
listen.
do? What we should do, and there's got to be a way to do this on FanDuel, is when we're done with both the Eastern and Western Conference. Because what we're doing here, folks, in case you don't know, is we're previewing each team. In this time, the Central Division, just to give you an idea of what happened this offseason, to catch you up, because the season's right around the corner, man. Media days in a few days for the Suns, because they're obviously going overseas to play a couple games against the Brooklyn Nets again, in China, so their media days earlier than most media days. But we're here to kind of ramp you up for the season. But part of this is when after we talk about a team, Matthew and I put them kind of on our our conference rankings and where we think they're going to end relative to seed. There's got to be a way on FanDuel to try to get the exact order right. 1 through 15. And you and I each put like $2 on ours. And if one of us hits, dude, we never do the fucking show again because we'll be billionaires. Because the odds of getting that right are like a lot.
Yeah, but in the NBA, one thing with the NFL, I think it changes yearly. The NBA is pretty close year to year.
I was so far off last year. Are you kidding me? Like,
I don't know. I feel like maybe
watched
like
the fucking games.
10 through 15. We know the players, the teams, excuse me, that are not going to make it the playoffs, but there's always like maybe the ones like the Sixers last year, voted them high, but they missed the playoffs. But
yeah,
it's usually about the same, man. Year in, year out. Yeah. I don't know what you were doing, but
well, this is true. Well, we'll reach out to FanDuel and we'll see if we'll make that happen.
Yeah,
so
let's get that.
In other news, James, just pop them if you got them, and let's get into the Central Division preview over there in the Eastern Conference.
Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
That's right, Jamsters. The Central Division over there in the Eastern Conference. That's what we're previewing today. It's the division that produced the team with the best record last season. It's a team that produced the Eastern Conference representative in the NBA Finals last season. So when you take a look at the Eastern Conference, definitely some talent and some surprises last year. I wish I didn't write over last year's predictions because the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers were the number one overall team, it's not something I predicted preseason. You didn't predict it, okay, Mister? It's the same guys every season. It was. You didn't have the fucking Cavaliers number one seed last year, did you, Matthew? Matthew, I see you in your henna tattoo. Matthew's just looking at me. This is great audio for our audio listeners out there. There, yeah. Now I see him chuckling at me. All right, henna. Did you have that? Nothing better than some technical difficulties to start a show. Well, I'll tell you that we didn't. Unmute yourself. At least. Are you muted? Are you unmuted? Well, and here I am talking. How are you doing in the chat, Jamsters? You guys having a good day? What'd you do today? Where'd you go? Did you go get a henna tattoo? Matthew's just laughing his ass off. He's like, I'm not even going to try to fix it. I'm just going to laugh my ass off. Unmute yourself. You're muted and lagging. So here's what we need, Jamsters. We all need to get Matthew new internet. That's our goal this season. Now I can see you're moving a little bit better. Oh, whatever. We'll continue to talk about it. Let's go ahead and all right, you there? You there? How about now? It's the worst fucking podcast. It's podcast number 2 after us being back on break. I can see you fine, Matthew. It's your audio. I can't hear you. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Oh, and he's gone. Okay, well, fuck me. How you doing, Jamsters? All right, well, we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at the 5 teams exist in the Eastern Conference. You have the Cleveland Cavaliers, the team that was the number 1 seed overall last season. You got the Chicago Bulls, a team that's always the fucking 9th seed. I got news for you. When it comes to predicting teams this year, that I'm going to put Chicago right back where they belong. They're always the team that hosts the first play-in game at the 9 seed, and then, whether they win or lose, they're a team that never truly makes the playoffs. You have the Detroit Pistons, which is a team that is quite interesting. Definitely a team that's on the upswing, and there's a lot of excitement in Detroit, and it's a team that I really grew to love in the postseason last year. And then you have the Indiana Pacers, the team that made it to the NBA Finals, a team that took the Oklahoma City Thunder, the powerful, almighty Oklahoma. No one can beat them. Took them to Game 7, and we'll never truly know what could have happened because Tyrese Halliburton blew out his Achilles early in that game. I mean, we were robbed of probably something epic. And poor Tyrese Halliburton, the fact that he has to deal with that injury, the mental weight of being so close to reaching the finish line and to go out like that, it's something you don't want to wish upon anybody. And then, of course, there's the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Milwaukee Bucks are just a strange situation. I mean, we talked about it earlier with the Boston Celtics on our last podcast and how it's really hard to predict them because no Jason Tatum, facing injuries. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks, with Damian Lillard getting hurt and them really kind of going in all in on Damian Lillard a couple seasons ago, and now having Damian Lillard be bought out, just like, a buyout wave stretch, whatever. Same thing that the Suns did with Bradley Beal, but they did it for more money and a week earlier. So when Bradley Beal's news came, it actually kind of softened the blow, I feel, on a national media perspective, because it was no longer an unprecedented situation for the Phoenix Suns to deal with because the Milwaukee Bucks had done it. But they've had to kind of make some adjustments. And the question ultimately becomes, does it work? Does what the Milwaukee Bucks did work? Because it is a weaker Eastern Conference. And it's one of those things where I wonder if moving to just having the top 16 teams in the league relative to record is something that makes sense in the future. Because there's just again, the Bulls have a shot every year and they just don't do anything. This obviously doesn't help the Suns next year because this is a team that we know is going to be kind of at the back end of the standings there over there in the West. But at the same time, it's like the WNBA does it. The WNBA has the top 8 teams, regardless of conference, make the playoffs, and they go from there. And I get the travel and whatnot, and the only issue I have with this is how do you balance that schedule? Because it's not really fair, right? If you keep the current schedule and then you just go, okay, the top 16 teams, it's like, well, there's some teams that are going to beat up on more weaker teams. And I know the last thing that the league wants to do is to add games, but if you made this season 87 games, every team would play every other team 3 times, and it would be a completely balanced schedule. Yes, there'd be traveling and back-to-backs and all the whatnots and what have yous that kind of adjust that and hurt that. But at the same time, it's something worth exploring. Just saying. I wonder where Matthew is. Just here I am talking to myself. I can't do the division previews without him. I need to get his point of view. But if his internet cut out, that sucks. Great audio, huh? Should I just ramble some more and pray that his internet comes back? Is that how we're going to do this today? So, Cleveland, I like them. Let's pull them up. Let's see what they did. All right. Perfect timing. Matthew's coming back. All right. Are you back?
Yeah.
All
Sorry,
right.
guys. I'm such a cunt. I don't make.
You're fine. I just sitting here rambling to myself, and I haven't talked about any team. I
my
literally just
God.
pulled up Cleveland, so I'm
Well,
like, I can't do this alone. I have to have Matthew.
yeah, my apologies. Yeah, my computer just crashed out. And just it wouldn't charge, so now I'm on my phone. So sorry, Jamsters. I know that was groundbreaking, but I'm back.
Well, so all I
Yeah.
was really talking about was you look at this division, and it just reminds you how tough the East is going to be because all the teams suck. And there's a lot of question marks. And I kind of wish that teams or that the NBA would adopt what the WNBA has done, where in the WNBA, the top 8 teams, regardless of conference, that's your playoffs. And in the NBA, it should just be
Yeah.
the top 16 teams, right?
Oh yeah, I think they should. I'm surprised they haven't moved there yet because Adam Silver is very progressive, and I don't understand why he's not progressing that way. Because we've been saying it for the last 5 or 6 years. We kind of just understand that there are teams that should not belong in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and then the teams that are, just barely making the playoffs in the West should be a top 4 seed in the East.
Yes.
Just get over with, dude. Because the way that the planes are nowadays, EJ will tell you up and down
Yeah.
that it's so much better nowadays. Just
Yeah, it's not
have
like
them
they're
travel
hopping in
East
a
Coast to West
fucking.
Coast.
They're not hopping in a bus,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
I know. I'm done with it. So I wish they would move on to 16.
All right, well
Top 16.
let's whip through these teams so your
Okay.
phone doesn't die on you. Again, we got the Cleveland
It's
Cavaliers,
charging
the
now.
Chicago Bulls, the Detroit Pistons, the Indiana Pacers, the Milwaukee Bucks. Matthew, I'll let you choose first. Who we going with?
Let's go with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, so the team who had the top record in the Eastern Conference a season ago at 64-18. They're one of, I think, only 2 teams that are a second apron team. $227.5 million in cap. They didn't do too much relative to changing over their roster. They added in free agency Larry Nance Jr. They lost Javonte Green and Ty Jerome. They traded with the Bulls for Lonzo Ball, getting rid of Isaac Okoro. And in the draft, they added with the 58th overall pick, Saliu Niang, and with the 49th overall pick, a guy I really liked, man, a guy who I thought the Suns were going to take instead of Kobe Bryant, and that was Tyrese Proctor out of Duke. So they're starting 5, a mirror of a season ago: Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. So when you take a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, Matthew, I mean, is there anybody in the division that's going to beat them? Because if you look at the odds, they're a minus 360 on FanDuel to win the Central Division.
I think heading into the season, just like last postseason, they were one of my favorites to make it to the championship. I think injuries, Darius Garland, obviously with Donovan Mitchell, they were just pesky injuries that kept bothering them all series long in the second round. Getting kicked, getting booted by the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, the Pacers were on a hot streak. So it wasn't really the Pacers or the injuries of the Cavs. I really think it was the injuries of the Cavs because that team is just the ultimate team. I think that they can be dominant during the season again. 64 wins, who knows? But they're definitely going to be a top seed. But they're a team where they need Donovan Mitchell and guys like that to really step up in the playoffs. Over the season, we know what they can do. It's just, can they actually repeat last season? And I think they can. I think they're going to be a very dominant team, a fun team to watch. And Donovan Mitchell, last year being the 5th in MVP voting, I feel like he kind of belongs where he is right now, where he's just kind of underneath the superstar status. But that's why in the playoffs, he has to make a name for himself and lead this team to a championship. Because that's the one thing he hasn't done yet in his career. He's done everything else but that.
Yeah, and I think the challenge with a team like this is the fact that their guards are just small guards. And so I think that's what's going to be a challenge for them for success in the postseason. Does Evan Mobley take the next step in his career? I mean, he did last year. He kind of made that next step. Now it's that next step for Evan Mobley because he could truly be a dominant force in this league and take a lot of pressure off of those guards with Jarrett Allen right next to him. Just a phenomenal defensive team. I'm with you. I think that this team's going to be highly successful in the regular season. I don't know how that translates necessarily to the postseason success. But when you take a look at where they slot in the Eastern Conference, they're going into the number 2 slot for me. Where do you have them?
I got him number 1.
Number 1?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
Do you think it's hard for a team like this, though, to be just repetitive and be like, we were such a great team during the season and we know what we can bring in the playoffs, but let's just do it again during the season, or do you think they know what they have now and they're just going to kind of cruise through the season and they get to the playoffs healthy?
I don't think they cruise. I don't think that this is a team that cruises because of the way that they've lost in the playoffs the past couple of years. I think that's a motivating factor enough for them to just come out because they're going to hear it. They're going to hear it from their fans. They're going to hear it from the national media that no matter how good they do or what they do until the playoffs come, it doesn't matter. And so they're going to have to they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. And Donovan Mitchell's a chip on the shoulder kind of guy. Jared Allen's a chip on the shoulder kind of guy. I think culturally, with Kenny Atkinson as the head coach, maybe the fact that Jordan Knott's gone might hurt them. We'll see, but I think ultimately this is a team that is going to have that chip. Do you think they're going to, or do you think they're just going to kind of know, hey, we're in the Eastern Conference, we can be on cruise control, 58 wins gets you the number 1 seed. So maybe that's how they navigate the season?
Yeah, I think it's going to be less than 60 this year. It won't be the 64, but I don't think they'll navigate it to where they're going to take their foot off the pedal. I just think that these guys know what they have. So if they don't bring it every night, I wouldn't be shocked. I just think they had a lot to prove this year. They're probably sick of hearing about the Boston Celtics all season long, and they proved themselves to be the best in the East. Just do it again.
Yep, round 2. Well, I already mentioned to the Jamsters while you were on hiatus that this next team I'm just going to automatically slot in as the 9th seed because that's what they do every year, and that's the Chicago Bulls, the most boring fucking team in the NBA. In fact, I tweeted it out a few days ago when I was creating these graphics for those of you who are watching on our YouTube feed. When I made the Chicago Bulls, I'm like, man, this is a boring fucking team. Like, they added Isaac Okoro via trade, which we just talked about because they traded away Lonzo Ball to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They also lost Rocco Zikarsky to the Lakers via trade. The draft, they added Noah Essengay from international player with the 12th overall pick, a guy who I wasn't really high on, who kind of just, he's like Modest Buzelis, right? Like, he's just kind of lengthy, kind of a wing player, but I don't know if he's physical enough for the game. They got Lachlan Olbrich, whoever that is, with the 55th overall pick. They still haven't signed E.J. Liddell, who the Suns are technically still paying, by the way, dead cap money, yay us, and Talen Horton-Tucker. But a team that, salary cap, $174.6 million. Their record, 9th overall last year at 39-43. Josh Giddey, who they just signed to a $100 million deal in restricted free agencies, their point guard. They got Kobe White at the 2, Ayo Dosunmu, I always get his name wrong, as the 3, Modest Buzelis as the 4, and Nikola Vucevic as the 5. Same old Bulls here, man. That's all my only take on it. Like, we could spend a lot of time talking about the Bulls. I don't want to. They disgust me. They're gross. They're the same shit, different day. A team and an organization, like, for as much as you guys might not be happy with how Matt Ishbia has navigated this team and the pitfalls that he's made as a new owner, at least he tries. The Bulls are the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, totally opposite. They run the black and red. That's what they bleed, just like the Raptors. And I can't stand it. I don't want to watch them this year at all. I'll hear once in a while when they go on a little hot streak. But the re-signing of Josh Giddey, I think it had to happen. There's not a whole lot of traction with that guy. Just a weird team. Them and the Raptors definitely fit together. That's why I'm going to put them at number 11, right behind the Raptors, barely missing the playoffs this year.
A lot of black and red.
I hope both those teams just vanish somehow.
Just vanish.
What's going to happen? Yeah.
Well, it's easy. We go to the 16 teams. Best 16 teams make the playoffs, and then we never have to see those guys ever again.
There we go.
All right, who do you want next? Detroit, Indy, or Milwaukee?
Let's do Indy.
Okay, interesting situation for them. A team, again, that didn't do too much because of the Tyrese Halliburton injury, but they got rid of Miles Turner, lost him in free agency. After all the opportunities that the Suns could have traded for him, they wouldn't let him go. And then they just let him go, to replace him. Yeah, big FU. They just, they traded for Jay Huff. They added Cam Jones from Alabama with the 38th overall pick and Talon Peter at 54. Thomas Bryant and James Johnson remain unsigned. And so a team that has $182.6 million in cap and was the 4th overall seed in the Eastern Conference with a 50-win, 32-loss record last year is going to run out Andrew Nebhard at point guard, Benedict Mathurin at shooting guard, Aaron Nesmith at small forward, Pascal Siakam at power forward, and Jay Huff at center. So no Tyrese Halliburton, obviously, with his Achilles injury, and no Miles Turner. This is going to be a very different team. And truthfully, this is one of those teams where, and this isn't a hot take, everybody knows this, they're in just kind of a holding pattern. They're one of those teams that's like, we're just going to kind of hang out. let the season play out. We know what we have in Tyrese Halliburton. This is a time to kind of lick our wounds. And like, I feel bad for Indiana fans because, one, just imagine us making to the Game 7 of the NBA Finals, taking the Thunder all the way to 7, and then having our best player just blow out his Achilles in the first quarter. I mean, it's just devastating. Yeah. And then days later, Miles Turner's gone, and you're like, wow, a week ago we were like literally on a high of how amazing our team was, and now because of that injury, our ownership is taking an opportunity to kind of mail it in and not pay people at the same time. So it's not a great place to be in if you're an Indiana Pacers fan, right?
You know what? It does suck a lot. I think that series should have been over probably in 6. I think that team had way more swagger. Like, they've actually been there in the finals in OKC. They didn't play scared. They're a very confident team, and I think that's why it's going to kind of carry over to this season. They still got a lot of fight in that team. That's what it was last year in the playoffs. A team that had to prove a lot of doubters, and they're going to have to do it again this year. I think they're up for it. Miles Turner, I did like him a lot. It's just in the finals, he just did not stick out. He in bad ways. Did. I think he was the guy that was just chucking threes, and I
lost a lot of money on him because he wasn't hitting those threes.
He looked awful. So him not being back is fine, but it's funny on both sides because there was a big FU to the franchise for wanting to trade him for 5 years, and then he's like, "No, I'm out of here." But this team seriously needs to like kind of dig down and just kind of stay in middle a little bit. They can still make the playoffs, I think. They're just a team that it's gonna be fun on the. Do they have League Pass still? Does anybody watch League Pass? That's expensive.
I don't know.
On the stream zone.
Ask Adam Silver. He's like, if you can't get it, oh well.
Yeah, what was the Stream East or whatever he shut down?
Stream East is gone.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's one of those teams where if they're on, I would love to watch them still.
So where do you have them in the Eastern Conference?
6, right behind. Oh, I can't tell you yet, but they're number 6.
Okay. You're a lot more confident than I am in them.
Okay.
You take a look at FanDuel. They are plus 3,500 to win the Central Division, which is the 4th worst conference-wise. They're at a plus 3,000. So an uphill battle for them, and I kind of agree with that. I don't think they make the play, and I have them slotted as 11th this year. I think it's a reset year. I just don't think they have the talent. Like, they're a talented team. What makes them a quality team is you have Tyrese Halliburton driving the bus and making everyone around him better. And the challenge is without him, there's just not a lot of talent. He makes everyone better.
Yeah.
They're going to there's a lot of regression in Indy this year. That's my theory.
Really quick, dumb question. Is Obi Toppin still with them?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, good. Because I was looking and I'm like, I can't figure out the contract situation for some reason. But yeah, I guess he is still with them.
Yeah, he is.
I'm going to love to watch that team still this year. So we'll see.
We'll go to the team that I'm really looking forward to watching coming out of the Central this year, and that is the Detroit Pistons. Salary cap, $167.7 million. They have they were the 6th seed last year, 44 wins, 38 losses, only 1 draft pick, which is crazy because it's a team that perennially was a lottery team, a top 10 drafting team. They only got Chaz Lanier with the 37th overall pick. What they did in free agency? Well, from the Cleveland Cavaliers, they added Javonte Green. From the Atlanta Hawks, they added Karis LeVert. They lost Tim Hardaway Jr. in free agency. He went to the Nuggets. They lost Dennis Schroeder, who went to the Kings. They lost it says Linder Waters. It's Lindy Waters the third. Waters. I always forget to go through and just like double check my
I saw
grammar.
Linder Waters, so I'm like, maybe that was his name the whole time.
Linder Waters. That's actually a good name. Linder Waters.
Linder.
Yeah, I'm gonna name my first kid that Linder Waters. My next dog's Linder, but he went to the Spurs, and then via trade they gave up Simon Fontecchio to the Miami Heat, and they got back Duncan Robinson. So obviously unsigned free agents, Malik Beasley, a lot of things that are still in flight relative to Malik Beasley as it pertains to gambling allegations and whatnot. So they added Duncan Robinson to kind of make up for that. So they're starting 5: Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Asur Thompson, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren. So when I take a look at this team, again, they finished 6th last year. They're a team that I definitely see rising up the standings. They're a team that, as the playoffs were occurring, that I really just started to fall in love with. I was like, man, I can't miss a Pistons game. Like, I like watching Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham does a lot of those things. He's a big point guard. He's big and he can get to the hoop kind of whenever he wants. And watching him develop in real time is something that was enjoyable during the playoffs last year. Jaden Ivey was hurt, so he's going to be back. Asura Thompson is just a great defensive player. And then I love Jalen Duren. Like when Jalen Duren got drafted, I had that's one of the years, like every third year I'll buy 2K, right? Like this year it was MLB The Show. Last year it was college football. The year before that it was like 2K, right? And then I'll maybe next year will be Madden, or I'll just start the thing up. Yeah. But I always, when I was a Suns, I'll be like, just trade for Jalen Duren there and done, you know? So big fan of the Pistons. What are you seeing from Detroit? What's coming out of the Motor City? Linders?
Well, just like 2 years ago, Anthony Edwards came out in the playoffs. I think really you saw the same thing from Cade Cunningham. He had a good season, he did, but he kind of showed a little bit more in the playoffs, and he became a true leader, I feel like. And it's not going to be anything crazy this year to where I'm not projecting like a top seed. I think they'll be good. But I think they're also just kind of just on the rise. And they might be, I think their ceiling right now is really the Houston Rockets of last year, to where they've surprised a whole lot of people because they have continuity. They have a coach still entering his second year, but they have the right coach. They have the right system. They have everything around them to really succeed in the East, especially with the Celtics and the Pacers taking a slide. So this team, for me, I really do see finishing fourth, having home court in the first round. And I think really a successful season for them would be a second round entrance. I'm not saying that to win in the second round, but just getting to the second round would be a great year for them.
I like that. Like, this is a team that when we go back, and what we're going to do is once we're done doing both conferences, we're going to have an opportunity to kind of go back and change teams as we want. This is a team that, like, I have to see how the rest of my conference shapes out, because I kind of have them slotted in at the fifth, and that's where I'm going to put them right now. Mm-hmm. But I could see them as a fourth seed, and like I feel like I'm high on this team, but the team we're going to talk about, and the team we're going to talk about next, I feel is maybe they're the fourth seed, because the Pistons right now they're plus 500 to win the Central. Yeah, and that's a lot better than the plus 1,200 that the Bucks are.
Getting home court, I could just see the Pistons like clinching home court, and like they're just flexing on the court, like excited. Game number 75 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in a fourth too.
Okay,
I'm changing it up.
Let's give them home court, dude.
Yeah, I like it. All right, we got one more. Is that it? We only have one more team. These division previews, man, they go by. All right, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
This is a team I was actually talking about them while you were having technical difficulties, because you know, again, this whole division I feel has, with Tyrese Halliburton, with Damian Lillard, who was part of this team, that he got hurt as well, and so his departure when they bought him out and then they stretched his contract actually softened the blow of Bradley Beal, at least on a national level, because Bradley Beal's happened like 5 days later, so people are like, it's no longer has that precedent that Damian Lillard had. But that's one of the players that they lost. They lost Damian Lillard. They lost Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is now with the Los Angeles Clippers. So who did they add in free agency? They added Cole Anthony from the Magic. They added Amir Coffey from the Clippers. They added Gary Harris from the Magic. And they also added Miles Turner, as we mentioned before. So that's kind of who's taking the place of Brook Lopez. They did add via trade Vasa Micic from the Hornets, who got traded to the Hornets by the Suns. And then they haven't signed him because we knew that was going to happen. He's going to go play internationally. They did lose Pat Connaughton to the Charlotte Hornets in that Vasa Micic deal. So Pat Connaughton, another mainstay for the Milwaukee Bucks, is no longer there. And if you could say the name of the guy who got drafted 47th overall, I'll be impressed. What do you got? How do you think you say that?
Bogo Jobulis Markovic.
Markovic is easy. His first name is Bogoljub. Bogoljub. And that's probably a typo. But this team, they are a team that's $178.8 million, so they are not a first apron or second apron team anymore. Like the Suns, they were, and that's why they did what they did with Damian Lillard, is to at least get out of that second apron hell that they too were in. The fifth overall seed a season ago. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be their starting point guard. They have Gary Trent playing the two. Kyle Kuzma. I was seeing some tweets the other day where people were talking about bringing Kuzma to Phoenix. Man, that's just gross.
Just get off of that.
Please.
That's a thing still. Come on.
It still is. Power forward, some guy named Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then Miles Turner is the 5. So the Milwaukee Bucks, man, how do you take in who and what they are, man, this season?
Boring as hell. It's a team I don't want to watch. Giannis is great. I think I kind of moved past his greatness, though, obviously after beating the Suns. But I think that
fucking 5 years ago.
This could be the year, though, where he steps up, brings them to a top 2 seed, and just is like, how do they do it? Well, they have Giannis. He's now the best player in the NBA in the world, taking over Jokic. Which probably it might not be a thing, obviously, but I just think Milwaukee didn't get any better, didn't get any worse, so they're gonna just stay at the fifth seed for me in the East because I don't think they did much to improve at all. And getting Kyle Kuzma at the trade deadline last year was not the best move. I'm surprised Giannis stayed, but I think he just is comfortable there right now, and maybe they make a move at the trade deadline now. But I don't think Miles Turner is enough to like move the needle for this team
Yeah, I
at
don't
all.
either.
I'm not excited for them. They're
I'm right
not
there
Raptor
with
status, but they're kind of close. I'm kind of
you.
getting
Who
sick of their
is
asses.
less exciting than Kyle Kuzma?
2 years ago, Kyle Kuzma was the shit. Maybe I don't know. It's exciting because you don't know if he's going to know the inbound pass play or the
Yeah.
inbound play.
He keeps you
So
on your
that's
toes
exciting.
because you don't know
Yeah,
what the fuck he's doing.
yeah. Or he's
Yeah.
just going to chuck up a 30-footer to win the game.
But he's like the perfect encapsulation of who that team is because he's just not exciting. He's there. Like you when you look at them from the outside looking in, you think they have potential. Yeah, Giannis. You start with Giannis, you're like, okay, they've got a top 3 guy in the NBA entering next season. And then you look at everything around him and you're like, ugh.
What fits though? Like I know Lillard, I never really liked. So
I didn't like
what really
him.
fits around him.
What fit around him
Chris Paul?
is what had Drew Holiday fit around him. Like that's why, because he had somebody who could facilitate, but somebody who could play defense alongside him. You know, they don't have any great defenders. Miles Turner's a good rebounder. He's a decent rim deterrer. But from on the perimeter, you know, again, their perimeter is going to be Kevin Porter Jr. and Gary Trent with Kyle Kuzma. That's a picket fence. There's nothing excited about that on offense or defense. Nothing.
No, it's gonna be a lot of work for him, but I don't know. Out east, they remain the same.
All right, where you got them? What
fifth
seed do you have them? 5th?
Bring him back to number 5. Yeah,
Man, you're a better person than I am. I have them at 8th.
nice.
I think the Bucks are going to be on a slide this year. You know, they were on a slide last year, if you recall, and then
They were, yeah.
and they got it together again, ending with what, the 6th overall or 5th, so 5th overall seed. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in what they are. They're definitely a team that is probably going to be sellers come trade deadline. And so I have making the play in, but I don't have them going that high.
Giannis, though, to me, is like top 2, top 3, just annoying players to hear about. Like I think LeBron's number 1, and then I think Giannis is creeping up there. I get sick of hearing what he has to say. I don't know. Is he just one of those players who just like I don't want to see the locker room post game interview? I don't want to see.
No, I actually like his like.
You like his? Okay.
Well, his whole take on successful seasons a couple seasons ago,
yeah,
right?
that was.
I
good.
liked that a lot.
Yeah,
because so many people in this clickbait era where people live and die with every play, and we experience it when we do our post game podcasts, and the people in the chat are losing their minds, and it's just like. And I think that's one of the things that's going to be fun about this year, Matthew. I honestly do. Where last year, the last 2 seasons primarily, because the expectations were so high, we couldn't really enjoy the little successes in the game. Because ultimately, the only thing that mattered was winning and losing. As a Phoenix Suns fan going into next season, it's less about the winning and losing. It's more about the successes along the way relative to development and chemistry. So we're going to enjoy that. And so Giannis, when he made those statements, it's like, hey, you know, Michael Jordan, 9 years out of his career, didn't win a championship. So is he a failure? You know, it's like only one team wins it all. And I think when you don't have the weight of expectation, and I don't think that Milwaukee's going to have a ton of expectations, but from a Suns fan's perspective, without that weight of expectations, this is going to be a really fun season, I feel, to cover the team. And I think that we're going to be a lot more engaged and enjoy it more than we have. Because for you and me, it became a chore because the team was supposed to be good and they were so unbelievably fucking not. Yeah. And it sucked. It's one thing to be good and then, you know, you make it to the playoffs and you maybe get a round or two and you go, shit, what could have been? But when you don't even make the play-in last year, it was horrible. So I know I completely diverted the conversation away from Giannis, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, what's crazy to me too is Kevin Durant and the Suns did not have had a good relationship leading up to him wanting to be traded. Like that's nuts to me. I don't know if you heard that one, but there's always stuff going on with these players where you just like Kevin Durant's the top 3 now, where I just don't really want to hear from the guy. Giannis, since that comment was great the post game, I just think he's kind of been a butt nugget as of late.
I think on the court he's still one of the dirtiest players in the league.
Oh, he's a tough watch now. I
is.
just think the last 2 years it's been brutal. I've not been a Giannis fan, man.
I haven't, because of when I watch him, I see him, the way he steps, he'll put his foot in front of a guy driving and the guy steps on it and turns his ankle. Like, he does little stuff like that. He does
little nasty things, dude.
And I'm not a fan of that. So there you go, man. There's the Central Division. Let me pull this up. So after 2 divisions, we have one. So here's a fun question. Okay. Let's see how good you are. Cause I forget this and I have to look it up as we speak. We've gone through 2 divisions in the Eastern Conference, the Atlantic and the Central. What's the name of the 3rd division?
Southeast.
Well done. Okay. I had to look it up. I forget.
Well, I just looked today. So.
Okay. Well,
no one would know that.
Well, it's because divisions don't fucking matter. Okay. Yeah. It's for scheduling. Again, that's literally what I said before. While you're away, I was saying the way that the NBA can fix the 16 team. Let me pull this back real quick so we can talk. The 16 team at the top of the Eastern Conference. The only challenge with that is it's an unbalanced schedule, right? Because if you're the Boston Celtics, you get to play the Charlotte Hornets more than the Phoenix Suns do. And therefore, you're going to have a better record. So the only way to fix that, is seen as there's 30 teams, is every team plays every other team a total of 3 times. Now, what does that mean? It means 87 total games. But it's fair.
It is fair. And the season still wouldn't matter to anybody.
Now, that being said,
I feel like they would go to 87 before going down to 75.
Oh, I know they would. The NFL, we're going to do 47 games. Like, what? Like, how is that possible?
That's going to be all year.
But the other way you could look at it is, like, you keep 82 games. You play every team 3 times less 5 teams. So there's 5 teams you don't play 3 times. And then maybe that is, I don't know how they would determine that. But I think that if you want to go to a 16-game schedule, that's the way you should do it. Now, that being said, bringing it back up, here's where we stand after going through the Atlantic and the Central divisions relative to our final season predictions that are way too fucking early because it's the middle of September. Matthew has the Cleveland Cavaliers as the 1 seed. The New York Knicks is the 2 seed. We don't know who his 3 seed is yet. The 4th seed's Detroit. The 5th seed's the Milwaukee Bucks. The 6th is the Pacers. 7th is TBD. 8 is the Celtics. 9 is the 76ers. 10 is the Toronto Raptors. 11 is the Bulls. 12, 13, and 14 are all wide open for your Southeastern Conference teams. I have my guesses where a couple of those guys will fall. Hello, Hornets. And then 15th seed is the Brooklyn Nets. For me, I have my 1 and 2 seeds locked down with the Knicks and the Cavs. I do not have my 3 seed either. So I'm interested if we have the same 3 seed. We both have Detroit at the 4 seed. My 5th seed is still open for interpretation. And I've got the Sixers at 6, the Celtics at 7, 6-7. Yeah, that joke went over real well on the last podcast. The Milwaukee Bucks at 8, the Chicago Bulls at 9, 10 is open, Pacers at 11, 12 is open, 13 is Toronto, 14 is open, and 15 is the Brooklyn Nets. For our listeners at home, if you are watching, you can see the graphic I have up, and you're like, why are you reading to me a bedtime story, John? It's because we have audio listeners as well, and we love them too. So audio listeners, YouTube watchers, make sure you subscribe, make sure you rate, make sure you review. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll be coming back to you next week with the Southeast Division, and then we'll move into the West. And who knows, maybe we'll have some Suns news. In fact, Media Day is a few days away. It's Wednesday, so we'll probably have a podcast specifically towards actual Suns news. Exciting.
It's exciting. It is early, though, too. So it's crazy how early.
Yeah. It's going to be a weird one. I'm interested to see how Media Day is this year. I mean, there's going to be a new energy, but, like, we'll see.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm going to be kind of pumped up after, like, every year. So
you're going, So are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go, as long as my work will let me. I don't know. I'll have to see what we have that day, but I definitely want to go.
Okay. I thought you were going to make it, so I didn't add your name in the request. So now I got to email them right now.
Okay. Okay.
You're like, I can't make it. I was like, okay, shit.
I thought I told you I was going to. I said, yeah.
Oh. I'm not good at reading things recently. You had the Royce O'Neal thing done for a week, and I just didn't read them. Like, are you done with that yet? I didn't even go into the article and look at it. Like, hey, you done with that yet? I don't see it as pending.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said yes, but honestly, there's a lot of traveling going on, so I'm not sure what I responded. So sorry.
Okay, well, we'll see you at Media Day, Jamsters.
Okay.
Until then, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Matthew, tell them what to do.
Go home, love and family.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.